So here I just have a large pot that I'm putting on low. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil. I just kind of eye it and rim the bottom, move it around. This will be used to saute the onions, garlic, celery, and bell pepper. Okay, so what I have in here is one large white or yellow onion that I've chopped up. I use a whole bag of celery chopped, one green pepper chopped. I've added some parsley, and I'm going to be adding 3 cloves of garlic. This is what I have set on low to slowly saute before adding in any of the other ingredients. So while this is sauteing slowly, you can have your carrots and everything else pre-chopped, but I'm just going to set this to low or simmer, just a really low heating while I come and chop up my carrots and my cabbage and my green beans. I like to choose everything organic. It's up to you. If you want to get the little mini carrots in the plastic bag, that's fine. Just however you want. Also, you don't have to add as many onions or celery. It could be revised. I just choose to have a lot of celery and a lot of onions and a lot of garlic. So I'm going to come and chop these up and then add them in a second. And so here are all the carrots chopped up. I decided not to do the entire bag just because I want to save some to snack on during the week. But it's up to you. Just like everything else, the quantity. If you don't want as many carrots, just don't add as many. I love carrots again, so I added in a good bit. So now I'm just preparing, cleaning and chopping my fresh organic green beans that we will add. I'm going to chop off the ends, cut them into a little bit smaller pieces and add to the pot. Okay, so I've added in now the carrots and the green beans along with everything else that I had in the pot. I'm going to add a can of tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, and this whole thing of organic vegetable broth. Now, I was pressed for time, so normally I would chop up my own tomatoes, but I wanted to get this one done pretty fast, so I opted for the can this time. And this is what everything looks like. So I'm going to increase the temperature on that while I'm getting ready my 1 packet of Lipton onion soup mix. You could do about half to 1 whole teaspoon of basil, thyme, and oregano. It just depends on how spicy you want it. My son doesn't like things with too much spice or flavor, so I try to keep it bland for him. But I know he won't be eating any of this, so I'm going to personally add 1 whole teaspoon of each. I'm also going to throw in some fresh ground black peppercorn. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to throw in a few shakes of crushed red pepper just to give it a little kick. So while that's all cooking on low to medium heat, you're going to chop up your cabbage. I choose to do the entire head. It just depends on the size of the head of cabbage, but you can eye it. You'll be able to tell when you throw it in the broth how much you really need to be adding. So this particular head of cabbage turned out to be rather large, more than I needed. So I'm just not going to use this portion. Going to throw in the cabbage to the pot. And so this is what everything looks like when you have it all together. I added more carrots and tomatoes and cabbage this time. Much like every other recipe I do, I feel like it changes every time. You just have to eye it. In this case, you see there's a lot more cabbage. So what we're going to do is cook it over low to medium heat for about an hour, and I will check it. If I don't feel like this is creating enough liquid, I'll probably add like a cup of water. Last time I did this, I didn't have to add any water. Some cabbage soup recipes call for all water and no broth. I feel like it leaves it kind of bland. So we're going to check this in about 30 minutes and see how we're doing, if we need to add any water or not. So I'm just going to peek in and check to see if everything's making its own juices. Everything's looking good. I don't think I'm going to have to add any water to this. So I'm just going to let it cook over low to medium heat for about an hour, hour and a half. Just eyeing it and tasting it along the way. So we're about at the hour mark since we began, and like I was saying, look how much juice was created just by all of the ingredients itself. So I did not have to add in any water or extra broth or anything like that. It's coming out pretty perfect. My stovetop tends to get a little bit hotter, so it's been on between low and the number 2. So now I'm actually just going to turn it off. I'm going to just give it a good stir and put the lid back on. I'm going to go do some chores around my house while this just sits in the pot. Since it's so hot right now, as you can see the steam, it's going to just continue to cook on its own. So I'm going to come back in like 30 minutes and see how we're doing. So it's been about 30 minutes now of it just sitting off in its own juices and heat. And here's what we have. I'm going to let this cool off because it is piping hot. And that's about it. Enjoy.